Isaac McKneely, Virginia sharpshooter. It's one of the handful of Cavaliers that have hit the portal, but he entered with a do not contact flag. Joe Tipton, Vaughn 3, had a graphic with both UNC and Louisville on that, despite the do not contact tag. Seems to be a bit of a battle here between the Tar Heels and Cardinals to keep McNeely in the ACC. We'll go through that battle in a second, but just McNeely, the player, Riley, what is either one of those schools getting? Potentially, mystery team. What would that team be getting?
Man, I think it's hard to find a bad fit for McNeely just because of the shooting gravity he
Yeah.
provides. Like he's such a good movement shooter. He's been that way for 3 years at Virginia, where you run him off a flare or a pin down, and he knocks it down. It doesn't matter how fast he's going; he's able to catch, get squared up, even shoot off balance. Like I just think he can fit in a variety of lineups with a variety of schemes, a variety of teams, to where he's a no-brainer to add, even if he comes with a high price tag, or maybe like I don't to call him a specialist would be a bit of an insult, because I think like the movement shooting is just so much more valuable than just like looking at a shooting specialist who's strictly a spot up guy. You're probably, but even aside from that, like I wouldn't say he has like, he's not really going to break anybody down off the bounce, but he can dribble a little bit too. But I still think his main role, the main sell of him is strictly that 3-point shooting. But, and even like kind of looking at his statistical profile, putting up 14 points per game
Yep.
for a team that was bottom in the country in tempo and that had literally no other offense besides him, with the occasional Jacob Kofi outburst, is so impressive. Like
Yeah.
he's option A, B, and C on the scouting report, and to still be as productive, to still have like those efficient of shooting numbers, I think he's going to go to either Carolina and Louisville and succeed immediately.
He's an NBA level shooter, right? He's a college level scorer, an NBA level shooter. I
Mm-hmm.
think is the way I would describe him. Defensively, he's not going to be a liability, coming from Virginia, but I don't think he's going to be a super lockdown guy either. But he's the best shooter in the portal this year, right? He's this
For
year's
sure.
Kobe Brea, who's more well rounded than Kobe Brea was coming out of Dayton.
You want to guess how many makes he has from three for his career?
300.
Not that many. 233 at a 42% clip. Those are like, that's like borderline Kobe Bryant type efficiency.
You know,
I don't
I, I,
know.
I don't know if that's enough data points for us to I don't know.
Like this dude is an absolutely elite shooter who is, I mean, if he, I won't spoil it too much before we get into the discussion about it. But if he goes to Louisville, I just trust Pat Kelsey to get the most out of him and to put really good guards around him, to where it's like, oh yeah, Louisville's in the Sweet 16 a year from now, because they have a bunch of guards that fit well with each other, and McNeely is this dude who just commands so much gravity because of his shooting that opens everything else up, and he's like a perfect fit there, for instance.
Yeah, let's start with Louisville because I think McNeely ideally is an off-ball guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he's going to make his impact. And I think that's one of the reasons he is so valuable in the portal too, not only because of the shooting and what he is as a player, but a lot of the guards are guys who are used to having their ball in their hands at their previous stop and are trying to transfer up, stay at power conference level, and find other roles where they can be, quote unquote, the guy. And there's only so many of those to go around. And so a lot of these cases, you're trying to figure out who can play off the ball as well, who can do some things without being super ball dominant. And McNeely is at his best when he's not ball dominant, when he's
Mhm.
off the ball. I think that adds to his value as well. Got to be some pieces around him to maximize him, I would say. But Louisville and Pat Kelsey in that system is perfect for that.
Yeah, I agree completely, especially when you look into them bringing in Mikel Brown Jr. coming in next year. They already have their starting point guard. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of production, a lot of shots left over with Hepburn graduating, with Edwards graduating. I believe Hadley is out of there as well. Like they're losing their whole starting perimeter trio, to where you sell McNeely on the Rain Smith type role, but Rain came off the bench for half the year. Like McNeely's going in there as a day one starter. I would love a theoretical pairing next to Mikel Brown, just because like, Brown is super skilled, super dynamic with the ball in his hands, can like He's got
Yeah.
great floor vision, can run a team. I think he's got some good athleticism. Probably needs to get a little bit stronger, but you put him next to a savvy vet like McNeely, and that immediately becomes, granted, consider the competition, but probably one of the three best backcourts in the ACC.
Absolutely. And I think he'd open up a lot of space and more open looks for McNeely than McNeely has had, like
Mhm.
throughout his career. Because even when he was playing next to Reese Beekman, you were still having McNeely as like option one on the scouting report. You're going to be
Mhm.
okay with kind of what Beekman was doing. Warren has many opportunities this year. I think you kind of saw the impact. Numbers were fine. I think you saw the overall impact kind of dwindle a little bit. Now, the UNC side of things, I know this is very interesting to you as a UNC fan. This is the one, particularly with Elliot Cadeau entering the portal, that intrigues me the most, both from a question standpoint and also a potential standpoint.
Yes. In short, yes. I think all the questions you want to lobby in Carolina's direction right now are fair game. I mean, you don't know who the point guard's going to be next year. There's a chance you get Seth Trimble back, but you don't want him like as anything more than a secondary ball handler. Like a Trimble McNeely pairing in the backcourt, I just don't think you have nearly enough ball handling. You don't have nearly enough facilitating. If you're Carolina, you add McNeely without thinking about it because he's a great piece that can fit into a variety of lineups. But with that uncertainty at the one, again, just like you compare that to Mikael Brown, who's like the pull up. Again, Brown has such a complete game with the pull up shooting and the playmaking and everything, the athleticism to where it's like, yes, I want Isaac McNeely in Chapel Hill, but from a roster and fit standpoint, I totally see why he would want to go to Louisville. There's just more clarity there right now. Like you have to sell him that you're going to be able to get a competent lead guard who can create his own shot, who can also facilitate for others, and that'll free him up to just do what he does best, and that's score the ball, shoot, come off screens, and open things up for everybody else. So yeah, I would love to fit in Carolina, or rather, love the addition. I don't know, man. I'm still a little skeptical just because like UNC hasn't landed a transfer in like 2 years, it feels like. um, Even with Vinal Lubin, my guy, playing well down the stretch, never doubted him once. But yeah, they missed on all their first targets last year. We'll see if
Mm-hmm.
this portal offseason brings anything different. I mean, I was inclined as we started this video to be like, congrats, Louisville. You're in a battle with Carolina for a portal recruit, which means you won. So Isaac McNeely, welcome to the revival. Enjoy Pat Kelsey. I'm sure you're going to make 123s next year, you know?
The fit of him and Brown, I think, is tantalizing to think about just as college basketball fans and seeing what that could be. I do think he also feels more like a Carolina player, just like looking at him, everything else being equal, right? I think
Mhm.
he feels more like a Carolina player. UNC needs the shooting. I do wonder what their plans are at point, whether you try Seth there and figure it works because he is a or came into school as more of a point guard combo guard and had to play off
Mhm.
ball because of Cadeau's presence. I wonder if sliding him back there, there's stuff that's unlocked that we haven't seen. If Ian Jackson returns, which we'll see, maybe you try him with some ball handling duties just to get him
Mhm.
more involved. I think there are options there, and UNC is going to be in the mix, potentially in the portal as well for maybe a true point guard or more pass first guy. They need some depth back there now. I think all of that out there is could work out really well. And again, McNeely is such a good piece. He fits anywhere. He's going to start for you no matter who you bring in or do not bring in. He's going to start for you. But the fit with Brown in Pat Kelsey's system.
I would be excited if I was a Cards fan about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited as not a Cards fan about that.
At least the ACC will continue to maybe be on the rise. We'll see. Will Wade, Pat Kelsey, John Shire. Then everything else is still kind of unknown, but at least it could be fun.
They would keep one of the best players in the conference too. It'd be pretty good.
It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.